Hey, what's going on guys? My name is KarQ and this is another self-VOD review, breaking down the game as Ana and what my team should and should not have done. I'll be doing this once a month with the previous ones in the description. So we begin on Hollywood Attack in a 4.3-ish 4.4k SR game with our team comp here. We're running a Pharah Mercy combo along with dive heroes as Winston, Genji, and D.Va. Now you may be thinking, hey KarQ, why didn't you pick Lucio for your dive comp? Well, I opted for Ana instead of Lucio here because it's tough to keep two tanks alive with just a healing aura since Mercy will primarily be in the air pocketing Pharah. If we only had one tank in Winston and subbed out D.Va for Tracer for example, Lucio would be the better choice because Tracer is slippery and has a recall ability to sort of self-heal if you will. So we launch our first attack with the 3 divers going in and our Pharah Mercy playing the vertical battle while I attempt to heal near the choke. Immediately you can see that I am being jumped by the enemy Tracer. Since Mercy is in the air with Pharah and can't immediately heal me, I have to burn my Bionade on myself to keep myself alive and move onto the point with my divers. There's no way I live unless I land a sleep dart, which I didn't even bother trying. Instead I move in and attempt to sleep the Zenyatta, but he actually got killed before it landed. However, in the kill feed you can see that the enemy soldier managed to get the upper hand on our Pharah, eliminating the Pharah Mercy threat. With Soldier winning that duel, he and Tracer go on to finish off the rest of our teammates. I'm unable to really do much in this case because the enemy D.Va recognized that I moved onto the point and held her defense matrix in my face, forcing my attention onto her and not healing my teammates. Although our D.Va managed to finish off the enemy Torb, the soldier winning the early duel meant that our team collectively should have focused him as our priority. Instead, we were met with our deaths and we reset for another fight. In this fight, our Mercy stated that she's building up her res and it may be up in the middle of this next skirmish. We recognize that the enemy team does not have a Symmetra for her teleporter or their own Mercy for a res, so trading 1-for-1s here will be in our favor as long as our Mercy stays alive. With that in mind, our Mercy hides in the top balcony building while our divers go for their back line. In this case, it looks like Torbjorn was the one caught out while the rest of the enemy team retreated into the cafe. Currently we're up 6v5. I was jumped by Tracer again and I burned my nade and missed my dart, but I had to move along with my team because our Mercy was saying we had to die together for her res. The enemy team decides to respond to the fight with high value ultimates such as Soldier's Tactical Visor and took 3 of us down, making it a 3v5. Our Genji managed to finish off the enemy soldier at the end, making it a 3v4, and along comes our Mercy for an easy 3-man res, and now we're back at a huge numbers advantage of 6v4. Now we unload all our abilities, Dragon Blade, Nano Boost, and we cleanly take the second fight. Looking back, there really wasn't much I could have done differently besides landing my sleep dart and shots on Tracer. It's tough against a good Tracer at this level, and I'm not going to beat myself up for it. We simply executed this fight better as a team and took it convincingly with good discipline of our ultimates and the power of Mercy's resurrection. Now for the streets phase of Hollywood, this is where our team ran into problems. D.Va opted not to dive with our Winston and Genji or hold Matrix out for our Pharah Mercy. She decided to stay on the payload with me, which is fine, she can help protect me from the enemies, namely Tracer. However, without our D.Va's Matrix, our Pharah got focused down by the enemy team. It's tough to live against a Zenyatta Discord Orb and a good hit scan player at this level. This opened up the fight for the enemy team and I retreated back to the cafe. I'm positioned very far and try to heal up our Mercy and the enemy Tracer caught me with my pants down and one-clipped me, exposing the huge weakness of Ana due to her immobility while she scoped in. We lose another teammate but we quickly actually get a resurrection to take another fight. Now both teams are just skirmishing for a bit, afraid to fully commit just yet because both teams understand that whoever makes the first move will be countered. I'm hesitant on the Nano Blade because the enemy has a Nano Visor, Transcendence, and Molten Core. If they Nano Visor or Molten Core, our D.Va has to move up and hold Matrix on the enemies. If our D.Va moves up with Matrix, this would allow the enemy Tracer to harass me in the backline as I am no longer protected by her. You can kind of see this whole chain reaction and thought process going on here at this level. So with that being said, you can actually see a big weakness in our comp here. We actually don't have anything reliable for Tracer besides a damage boosted rocket from Pharah or me landing a sleep dart. Genji, D.Va, Winston, and myself aren't exactly hard counters to her, and if she's skilled she should be able to dodge and get away if we allocate too many resources on her. Fortunately, our team picks off the Zenyatta so there will be no Transcendence and now we commit with a Nano Blade. Unfortunately, the Molten Core and Nano Visor proved too much as we were taken out with their high value ultimates. Perhaps another way we could have approached it is, if we rewind a bit, the Mercy doesn't res here and we regroup for a fight, bait out their Nano Visor, and then use res. But hindsight is 50-50 and it's hard to tell what the right call is in the heat of the moment. So we regroup and our Genji switches to Roadhog as it's much more difficult to string kills and resets when the enemies are more spread apart in this phase. Early on our D.Va commits her bomb and we take out the Torbjorn. Roadhog is near the saloon and eating Tracer bullets, feeding her a lot of ultimate charge. I top him off and progress with my team to the cart. Roadhog manages to get the Tracer but dies the soldier who managed to follow up. Now this is where our team split, with me and Pharah on the cart while Winston, D.Va, and Mercy played left of the saloon. I whiffed my nade in 3 consecutive shots here, and Winston and D.Va were unable to capitalize anything on the left of the saloon as there's not too much burst damage with those 2 tanks, and our Winston ends up dying. Mercy decides to use her res for tempo, which honestly I didn't agree with. Our Roadhog traded with Tracer early on, which means Tracer should be back way before him, especially based on where we're taking these fights. Even with this tempo 1-man res, it's still a 5v6 disadvantage. However, in the moment, a team call was made after the tempo res to go, so I nano Winston, but the enemy responds with the trans and a visor of their own and wipe us out. Now we have to regroup for another fight, and I think we should have switched to a Reinhardt based on their comp. Winston is going to die so fast a double hit scan and Discord orb, but none of us realized this in the middle of the game. Looking at the enemy comp, I realized they don't have dive anymore, and I opted to play in the back, thinking we were going to fight on the cart, but our vertically mobile heroes in Pharah, Mercy, Winston, and D.Va all took the high ground of the saloon. In this case, I probably should have taken the elevator to the high ground while I was behind the bank, but it may not have mattered because if we analyze this further, it looks like D.Va committed too early on her bomb and got high nooned out of mech, instead of holding her defense matrix on the double hit scan. Without matrix, our Winston also died to the high noon. Our Pharah traded her barrage and got 1, but died, and our Roadhog was focused on the point after missing his hook. Since I was in a poor position to begin with, I wasn't able to heal him in jail. My thought process was walking to the cart in front of D.Va to heal Roadhog meant she was going to matrix me, and I wasn't going to heal him, so I took the backside hoping he'd live long enough. And I did kill Ana, but it didn't matter at this point as the fight was lost. Again, maybe if I took the elevator to the high ground to begin with, I might have been able to pocket Roadhog a bit better from there. With that being said, this was as far as we pushed the payload for our attack. Now, onto the defensive side, we decided to run a Pharah Mercy again on the first point with Reinhardt and D.Va as our main tanks holding the front line with Soldier and Ana to round it out. Honestly, I think I played very poorly from a mechanical standpoint, missing many easy shots and even whiffing a nade on the floor here. I'm just running around putting in heals whenever I see a teammate low, and I really didn't get a chance to look at the main choke to see what the enemy was running. I was busy trying to keep myself and my team alive. Lucio gets killed, but our Pharah Mercy was taken down shortly after. With those 2 out of commission, it would be extremely difficult to retake. I have to go into the cafe to heal Soldier because he's at critical health, and I come back out to see Ryan super low. He connected a pin on D.Va, but I had no ammo to top him off, so he dies mid-charge to Tracer. I actually managed to land a shot and punch Tracer. I opted to punch again to finish her off, but she's slightly out of range, so I go for the punch again, but I got booped by D.Va at the last second and she makes it out. I should have thrown a nade in hindsight, but my thought process in the moment was that it would be wiser to finish her off with a melee and save the nade for an anti-heal to even have a chance of restabilizing our defenses. Regardless, it would have been really tough with D.Va already out of mech and most of their teammates still alive. So we concede and try to defend the streets phase. So here our Pharah Mercy and Soldier play on the high ground, which is fine, and me, D.Va, and Ryan play the low ground with a 3-3 split. Unfortunately, our Ryan was too far ahead of our D.Va and the enemy Tracer recognized this. With no threat of our D.Va potentially eating her sticky bomb, she simply blinks behind her Ryan and takes him out cleanly. This already put a dent in our defenses as we lost our primary tank. Now I'm super exposed without the rectangle in front of me, especially since I didn't opt to play the high ground. I see flankers coming behind bank, so I quickly move up to D.Va to have her protect me with her matrix. I still get rolled as the early loss in Ryan was too big of a hit. I respawn and our Ryan switched out to Winston. Our D.Va and Winston die in a fight, but our Mercy has res and she quickly brings them back up. I throw a nade that hits my D.Va and an enemy, turn around and land a great sleep dart on the enemy visoring Soldier, but to no avail as I peeked line of sight to the D.Va bomb and died. In the moment, I briefly saw the D.Va throw out her bomb, but it didn't process where it was headed. This was also because I heard a Soldier visor behind me, so I reactively slept the Soldier, but lacked the information on the exact location of the D.Va bomb. I thought I could make it to the saloon as the safest option, but got caught in the explosion. And even if I didn't, you can actually see the Tracer had a pulse bomb ready for me anyway, so I probably would have died. Despite trading a few kills, the enemy team executed the fight better and took out high priority targets earlier on and managed to win the fight. I respawn and I have to wait for our tanks to go in first, or else I would be decimated at the little door. Our McCree makes a great pick on Tracer but gets finished off by the enemy McCree. I walk out and attempt to make some shots on him but miss. I was actually predicting him to strafe, but it turns out he just walked back in a straight line. Regardless, it's a 5v5 and we're taking the fight on the cart because it's super close to the winning mark for the enemy team. I got Helix and I notice the enemy Soldier is peeking the high ground and I land a good sleep dart on him. Our D.Va flies up to follow and finish him off, and I go behind the dumpster to get a safer healing angle on our Winston and notice the enemy Lucio has gone too far. I nade him and we promptly finish him off. According to the kill feed, our Soldier got taken out by D.Va and our McCree was stuck by Tracer, so we actually lost our 2 big DPS players despite taking an early numbers advantage. It's tough to take anybody else out without those 2, so we stall and skirmish till one of our hit scans respawn and return. As soon as I see our Soldier make it out the door, my nano was up and I gave it to Winston so he could dive their backline and give us some space and breathing room. The enemy Zenyatta responds with the Transcendence and I managed to tag their Soldier with my anti-heal nade, resulting in his death. With that, we end up finally taking the fight despite me getting wrecked by Zenyatta in the end. I literally walk out of spawn and I'm zoned by the enemy Tracer and her pulse bomb. My soldier and Lucio die in that small window and I end up being dove by the rest of their team with their numbers advantage. And with that, the enemy team takes the game. Overall, there were instances where I whiffed mechanically and made some questionable choices in choosing the position on the low ground instead of the high. For the most part, I'd say it wasn't any single individual who lost us the game. We didn't sync well as a team and had bad macro decision making. Now, if you enjoy this analysis, I'll be doing one per month to share with you guys and for myself to see my own personal growth. You can join me and the rest of the CAR community live on twitch.tv/KARKEW Saturday through Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Europe time. Take care and have a wonderful day, my friends.